What's up, everyone? Welcome to Cash Flow and Coffee. I am your host, Tyler Wanaka. I'm going to be hosting today's Cash Flow and Coffee. My boy, Jonah Corchin, as you guys all know, who's usually here, is not here, unfortunately. He's out traveling, living his best life. So today I'm going to be doing it all on my own. And we'll get all of your guys' questions answered, okay? So all of pretty much the way this is ran is you guys throw your questions, anything real estate wholesale related, into the chat, and we'll go ahead and get those answered, or me at the moment. We'll go ahead and get those answered for you guys immediately so we can help you out with anything that you guys have, okay? So right now we don't have anyone in here, so we'll kind of just hang out and wait for some people to join so we can get some questions going. Let me grab some questions that we have saved up from our DMs, because people, they DM us questions and things like that. So let me try to find those. Here we go. Okay. We'll get started with this one, and I'll get this one put up on the screen. All right. Do you know? So I'm just saying, I'm throwing these in the chat, so it's coming from Jonah, but these are questions that we've been DM'd on Instagram, and we just save them up because we answer them all. So if any of you guys DM us questions on our Instagram, we'll save those. We'll answer it live here on Cash Flow and Coffee. So do you know where I can buy a quality list of agents, or where I can look to find one? So yes, 100%. So we get our list of agents from brokerage websites. That's the primary place that we use to get our agents. So what I mean by that is I'll go on places like realtor.com, right? And they have a search an agent feature, and then you search your city or county that you're looking for agents in, and we'll go ahead and answer those, not answer those questions. We'll go through the list of agents there, write them down on a Google Sheet, and then we will upload that Google Sheet into our CRM, SimpleSend, where we then blast out those texts. The other place we do it, so it's not just realtor.com. There's a ton of different brokerage websites you can find these agents from. Realtor.com is one of them. Another one could be like Compass, EXP. Just go on literally their brokerage websites. You can search on Google, what are the top 10 or top 15 brokerages in the United States, real estate brokerages, and then you can go to those brokerages websites, and they all have a search an agent feature. Search your city or county, pull them up into a list of an Excel sheet or something, and then text blast those agents. So that's where we get our list of agents. And then we do have a scraper too that we use in order to just do it all at once. Another place you can do it is exporting an MLS list from PropStream, Batch Leads, and maybe Privy. I don't know if Privy does it, but you could definitely do it from PropStream and Batch Leads. You could just search or filter by MLS listings in your area and just export them, and they give you their name and phone number. So yeah, that's how we do that. Let me keep going. I'll answer this one here that we got sent to us. What is the difference between an MLS agent outreach and non-MLS agent outreach? Okay, so the difference is MLS agent outreach is agents have a current listing on the MLS, right? And you're reaching out to them. Non-MLS, just like it sounds, the agents don't have a current listing, or you have no idea they could. But basically, you're not trying to contact them about their listing. You're just contacting them because you want off-market deals. So that is the difference between MLS agent outreach and non-MLS agent outreach. Let's see. Pretty much that's basically all. We'll do a couple of more. I want to get some viewers in here so we can get some people coming and asking some questions. You know what I'm saying? Let me, hopefully I did this right, because I'm not used to running this thing. That's live. Yeah, here we go. Okay, question number 3. Hey, Jonah, questions for the Q&A on Monday. Love how he just knows we're going to do it live. How many texts per day is manageable for one person? I think I can handle 30 intro calls. So if you can handle 30 intro calls, that's really solid. If you're able to do that every single day, you'll get deals sent to you like crazy. How many texts per day? It depends, it depends on your schedule, what you're doing for the rest of the day. How many deals do you have to comp, right? So there are going to be some days where you might be stacked with deals and you just have to follow up, make a bunch of follow-ups. You have a bunch of deals to comp, all that good stuff. And you're just like, I don't have time to spend texting agents right now because I had 50 conversations today just on follow-ups. That's fine, honestly. So there's going to be days where you can't do any, but when you're starting off, you could probably handle new texts 150 to 200 per day easily. That's a good start. I think you can go for 200 if you're just starting, because you really have nothing else going on in your day. But as you get more and more agents and more properties sent to you, you're going to have more time in your day that you're going to have to use towards those agents following up on properties, comping deals. You're going to have less time sending text messages, things like that. So you need to be able to allocate your time, obviously, correctly. But as you get more and more busy, those texts might go down, but your follow-ups will go up, right? So as long as you're hitting 30 to 50 calls per day, every single day, whether it is a follow-up, whether it's an intro call, I think you're pretty solid. I think that's our KPI essentially for us to get about a deal to 2 deals every week or every other week. Delbin, what's up, man? Okay, do you recommend hiring a VA for help before you get your first deal? So this question depends a little bit. Number 1, if you can afford it. Number 2, what does your time look like? And number 3, do you have any prior real estate knowledge or lead generation experience whatsoever? Because me personally, I know Jonah has a few different views on this, but me personally, I think your first hire should be someone who does lead intake, because that is the most important in your business and the most time consuming. So I think lead intake is going to be the first hire that you make, which is perfect for a VA, but you have to have a process, right? So if you don't have a process, then you're not going to be able to hire them very good. So if you have no idea what you're doing, Delvin, and you're trying to still figure this out, don't hire a VA yet, right? You can, I would say, hire a VA once you have, if you can afford it. You can hire one at $4 an hour easily, which is like $640 a month for full time, $640 a month full time. So if you can afford $640 a month, great. If you have a good process for lead intake, right? So I don't know what CRM you guys are using. I don't know what text blasting software you're using. If you're cold calling, if you're text blasting, we use our CRM, obviously Zapier, and then we have the text blast, which is really easy for a VA to do. So I would say that, again, if you have the money, you have a process that you can easily just transfer to someone else, and you kind of know what you're doing with that process, then I would say yes, because lead intake is very, very important for your business, right? And you don't want to be spending all your time doing that. So hopefully that answers your question, Delvin. If there's anything that's unclear, go ahead and throw it in the comments. What do you consider lead intake? Lead intake is getting interested people to work with you, right? So that is like agent outreach or buyer outreach. Now, obviously, if you guys are doing acquisitions, lead intake would be agent outreach, right? Finding agents interested in working with you. So you can have a VA do lead intake because all they're doing is texting agents. At least the way we do it is all our VAs are just texting agents saying, hey, do you work with investors? Are you still an active agent? And if they work with investors and if they're open to working with us, that's now a lead, right? So let's go ahead and schedule that lead, an appointment with our acquisitions manager. Okay. So that's when our acquisitions manager will take over, right? That lead. But the lead intake was done by the VA, right? The outreach and the intake of that agent. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm using Zapier. Perfect. So we already obviously, as you know, have our system built out for lead intake for agents. So if you understand it, right? If you have a really good understanding of how it works, then yeah, hire a VA and throw the VA in there. So that way you can spend all your time just talking to agents on the phone, not texting a bunch of agents that are not interested or things like that. So then I would say yes. But obviously, as long as you understand the system, so make sure you're going through all those training videos. Will there be a Zer meeting today? Yes. I don't know if you guys saw, but I had some pop-ups on the screen, some changes, rebranding, things like that. But you need to schedule these calls, okay? I mentioned it in the video at the very end on some of the support changes that are coming, and you have to schedule the calls. Okay, so let me show you. Let me just show you because we have 2 Zer users here, so I want to make sure that you guys are seeing this. Let me share my screen. You know what? Let me pull it up first. Delvin, no problem, man. Happy to help. Okay, let me share my screen here. Go. All right. So, see down here at the very bottom, live Zoom Q&A. Click on that. And there is going to be a calendar here for you guys to schedule what days you want to come in. So I mentioned this in the video. I don't know if you guys watched the video or not, but I highly recommend you watch those pop-ups. I don't put them there just for fun. It's actually important information. So if you want to join in today, go ahead and make sure you schedule that, okay? So that way I know who's coming, because right now it all shows up on my calendar inside Zapier. And oops, that is the wrong one. Okay, it all shows up on my calendar inside of Simple Send, and right now I don't see anyone scheduled for today. Okay, so make sure, Luke, if you're going to be there, make sure you come in here, schedule for today, so I can see it on my calendar, so I know people are actually going to show up, so I can show up. Because if I don't see anyone scheduled, I ain't showing up. That's how it's going to be from now on. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Any other questions that I can help with at the moment? If not, I'll throw in some older questions that we have saved up. Here we go. Okay, so this is an old question. I don't remember who sent this over, to be honest. Do you recommend following John Galans' strategy? 1, call in distressed on-market listings and make an offer. 2, with that same listing agent forever. Follow up with that same listing agent forever and ask for pocket listings. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great strategy. What I recommend, because off-market to me is like the best. It's just the easiest to get the biggest fees and the most sustainable, in my opinion. So what I always recommend is set a minimum KPI, actually like a good KPI, right? Like 40, 50 conversations per day. Do your outreach in the morning to agents, make all your follow-ups, comp all your deals, make all your offers. If you pretty much hit all your numbers for that day and you have extra time in the day, then I would recommend you doing this, where you go on the MLS and you make offers, or you could just double down and do more off-market agent outreach, right? That'll just get you even more success than doing both. But you can also, if you did want to do that, I'm just saying, if you did want to do that, you can do that at the end of the day when you have time, after you already hit all your numbers for the off-market agent outreach. That's what I recommend. Logan said, when you dispo on-market properties, did you have any buyers call the agent and tell them you're wholesaling it? It has happened. Yes, it has happened a couple of times. It doesn't happen every time, so I don't really worry about it too much, but it does happen sometimes. I think it's happened recently on one of our properties, but luckily the agent was chill with it. You pretty much just have to calm them down, say like, hey, the way we do it is we put our own assignment term in there stating that we can assign it. So pretty much the seller already agreed to us assigning it. So if they find out, basically it's nothing new. So I'll call them if they have an issue with it, and I'll just be like, hey, look, bids are coming back a little bit high. We're not trying to, obviously we have multiple different exit strategies. We just like to get this out to some of our other investors that we know, just in case we're able to bring a partner in on it, or if we want to assign it over to anyone. So that way we don't have to cancel on you, because we want to utilize every exit strategy that we have in our books in order to get this deal closed for you and your commissions paid. Because the last thing I want to do is waste your guys' time. Really like the property for us. It's just there's some things coming back that aren't really working in our favor, right? That's like my approach, where I make it just seem like, hey, I'm just taking every option that I have, so I don't have to waste your guys' time, or I don't have to cancel on you guys. And it'll make the agent feel a little bit better, and just calm them down, and reiterate that, as you know, we have our assignment term in there. Seller already signed off on that, so it's nothing to be surprised about. We are exercising that option just in case we, for whatever reason, we can't take this one down ourselves. We want to have backup options. So I don't think that will make the agent very upset if they're a reasonable human being, because one, they signed off on it. Two, it makes sense. You're doing everything you can to close that deal. And three, you're not being an asshole about it. So yeah, you should be fine, as long as you approach it the right way. And don't ignore the agent, okay? I know there are some people who will get caught wholesaling, and not even caught. They're just like, the agent will find out that you're specifically wholesaling, and they'll just ignore them because they're scared. You don't want to do that, because that's not a very good idea. How long will it take me to get approved for A2P10 DLC? So that could take up to a week to 2 weeks. Your brand will get approved immediately, as long as you put in all your company information correct, right? Your EIN, company name, authorized representative, all that stuff that I show you what to do. That will take literally an hour, baby. Once that's approved, they start working on reviewing on your campaign. So that could take up to a week to 2 weeks, depends. So yeah. And then if you don't get approved, it'll give you a reason, so that way you can go back and fix it, change anything. So it'll say content not allowed, or whatever the case is. So then you just change up your scripts, change up your content, change up your reasonings, all that stuff, and then you should be good. All right. We don't have a whole lot of questions, and I don't have any questions saved up from my DMs. We kind of answered most of these questions a bajillion times. So I might end this thing here in just a couple of minutes. If anyone else has any last minute questions that you want to throw into the chat, go ahead and do so now, or we will be, or else I'll just be ending this. I'm also starving. I haven't ate breakfast yet, so I want to do that. Got my WeWork coffee over here at WeWork. Do you recommend hiring a VA for agent calls? I think if you have a VA who speaks really, really good English, then yes, I think it could be good. And their job could just be vetting out agents and then scheduling them on the phone, live scheduling. So the same exact process, except over the phone. I would recommend doing that actually as a second option to texting. I would have both going at the same time. Your cold caller could call all of the agents that did not answer the text messages. And if there's no more agents to call, as far as the dead agents that didn't answer, they could pull their own list and cold call them. So yes, I do think it's a good idea. But again, only if they're really good on the phone, and only if they speak really, really good English. Because the agents are not going to respond very well with somebody from the Philippines with a heavy accent calling. It is what it is. It's kind of racist, but it is what it is. That's just how agents are, right? So if you hired somebody from maybe an expat or something, I don't know, or just somebody who grew up in the US or has really, really good English, then yeah, I think it could be a very good idea. Hopefully that answers your question. All right. Last call for any last minute questions before I end this stream. I'll give it a few seconds. I do not have any more saved up, so I am all good. I hope you guys are drinking your coffee and cash flowing coffee. It would be wrong of me not to have a coffee, you know. We got another question. Why do you take the texting cold outreach approach versus the cold calling? It's just easier. That's it. Like, I personally, when I was doing it, I hated cold calling. So texting was easier for me. And just because I did it, I just had our VAs do it because I knew how to do it, right? So that's it, really. I mean, there's no right or wrong way. I think texting is a little bit more scalable. You can just reach more agents at once. That's pretty much the only reason. Cold calling is still good. I don't think cold calling is bad in any way. It's just what I preferred when I was doing it. So naturally, when I hired VAs, I just had them do it because it's what I know how to do best. All right. Thank you for all the questions, Logan. I appreciate that. Delbin, if you're on here, man, appreciate the questions. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. I will see you all next week. Jonah will be here next week for the Cash Flow and Coffee. So that way we can get both here. Oh, he snuck one more in here. You sneaky guy. Do you text agents to sell deals as well or just buyers? Are you talking about like deal blasts? Like when I text out the deals, am I texting only agents? Or am I texting only buyers? Is that what you're asking? Do you text agents to sell deals as well or just buyers? I think that's what you're asking. I text both. I mean, I don't text the agents that are on my agent follow-up, obviously. I text all the buyers. Sometimes I'll have agents and wholesalers on the buyers list. So by accident I might, or like I have a dispo wholesaler list. So some of those wholesalers might be agents. So the answer is yes, but like not intentionally, honestly. But I think it would be a good idea. So something that we want to implement eventually. We're not doing this right now just because we don't really have the time to implement this right now. But we want to implement like an agent outreach for buying, like for buyers, basically. So we want to get a bunch of agents that work with investors on our buyers list or on a specific agent dispo buyers list and text them all of our deals so they can send it to their network of investors. We are going to do that at some point, but we're not doing it right now. So to answer your question, yes and no. Like yes, accidentally, but eventually we will do it on purpose for sure. All right. Hopefully that answers your question, Logan. I'm going to hop off. Appreciate you all. I will see you next week with Jonah Korchin. And yeah, that's all from me. I will see you all later.